Hello, today I'm going to be talking about polling in Indian elections with respect to this year's national elections. Let's begin. Hello, and welcome to Global Nationalism. I am a global nationalist. I support nationalism in my country, India, and in all countries around the globe. Today I'm going to be talking about Indian nationalism with respect to current events, the current event being the Indian general election of 2024. So today was the final phase of the election, the seventh phase, and exit polls have been released. So I want to just take a look at some of them and look at previous exit polls and opinion polls of previous elections and see how they measured up to the actual results of the elections to see if we can, how much faith we can put into the exit polls and opinion polls of this year's election and to kind of understand how polling works in India. Let's get started. Here, uh, first let's talk about what opinion polls and exit polls are. Opinion polls measure voter intentions before voting occurs by surveying a sample of the electorate. These provide early indications of possible election results. Exit polls conducted on the day of polling immediately after voters leave the polling stations ask voters whom they actually voted for, offering a real time snapshot of the election outcome. In essence, opinion polls predict potential voter behavior, while exit polls reflect actual voting patterns. So basically, the main difference is that one happens before voting and one happens after voting. And um, yeah, otherwise there's no real difference as far as I know about their sampling and their procedure of getting uh, people's opinions. Now, exit polls in India are subject to several laws, including Section 126A of the Representation of the People Act 1951. In a voting session, this clause forbids anybody from conducting exit polls and disclosing the results on paper, electronic media, or any other way. Election Commission of India has the authority to enforce a prohibition of that lasts from the start of polling hours on the first day until 30 minutes after polls close on the last day of all phases. So this is why exit polls were not released in the earlier phases of this election because it could only be done on the last day of the last phase. Here are the opinion polls and exit polls of the 2009 election. I've taken three polls each. In the CNN, IBN, CSDS opinion poll, the UPA, which was the Congress led alliance at that time, got 235 seats, and NDA got 185 seats. And CNN, IBN, Dainik Bhaskar uh, exit poll gave 205 seats to the UPA and to the NDA 185 seats. So, and we can see that this same company, CNN IBN, produced slightly, at least, similar results in the exit poll as they did in the opinion poll, except that they reduced the UPA seat number, but they kept the NDA number the same. For Star Nielsen and C Voter, it was kind of similar. They gave UPA three UPA and more seats in the opinion polls than they did in the exit polls. The average was for the opinion polls was 224 to the UPA, 187 to the NDA, and 201 to the UPA, and 192 to NDA in the exit polls. And what were the results? UPA got 262 and NDA got 159. So this shows that both the opinion polls and exit polls were incorrect in the amount of seats each party would alliance would get, but they were correct about who would win the election, who would get more seats, and they're also correct to show that neither party would get a majority. So yeah, in that way the polls were right. They showed who won. They just didn't show how much they won by. So the CNN IBN Locality CSDS opinion poll, this is for the 2014 election, showed UPA getting 139 seats and NDA getting 232 seats. And then the exit polls showed NDA getting much more, 282, and UPA getting much less, 102. And the NDTV Hansa Research uh, opinion poll showed UPA getting 111 seats and NDA getting 275. Their exit poll showed 103 to UPA and 279 to NDA. And ultimately, the average for the opinion polls was 117 for the UPA and 244 for the NDA, and 117 in the exit polls for the UPA and 270 for the exit polls to the NDA. So we can see here that there's a general change. There is a change in the amount of seats that were predicted for the opinion polls and the exit polls, but once again, the overall direction of the voting pattern remained the same. NDA got more seats than UPA, which is what the showed in results, but the magnitude was far off. They were thinking that UPA might get 117 seats, but they actually got less than 100, 59, and NDA got more than 300 when they thought they would get 270 or 244. They got 336, which was what the first time any party got a majority in India, and since Rajiv Gandhi got it in 1984. Then in 2019, the C voter opinion poll gave 141 seats to UPA and 264 to NDA, and their exit poll gave 128 to UPA and 287 to the NDA, and the final uh, average was 138 to the UPA and the opinion polls, and what 272 to the NDA, and in the exit polls the average was 184 to the UPA and 239 to the NDA. So in this state, the exit polls showed the UPA getting more seats than the opinion polls and NDA getting less, which is a bit different than what was shown in the polls for 2014, where the UPA kept the same number of seats, but the NDA increased their number of seats. And in the end, NDA won, got 353 seats, and UPA only got 91 seats. Once again, less than 100. Now, these are the current polls. The India Today's C voter opinion poll gave 166 seats to India Alliance and 335 to the NDA Alliance. And their exit poll, the India Today Access My India. I'm using this because both are from India Today, even though the other partner is different. India, they have said that they've kept the same number of seats for India, 166, but they've increased the number of seats for NDA, 401. And Times Now ETG opinion poll shows India getting 118 seats and NDA getting 384 seats. And exit poll shows India getting 152 seats and NDA getting 358 seats. And India TV CNX opinion poll shows India getting 98 seats, NDA getting 378 seats, India TV CNX. In their exit poll shows the India getting 139 seats and NDA getting 401 seats. So the average of the opinion polls is 127 for the India alliance and 365 for the NDA alliance. And the exit polls average is 152 to the India alliance and 386 to the NDA alliance. So, considering that the last three polls were correct in showing who got more seats, I think that it's a strong possibility that once again this will happen in this election. And since the opinion polls and exit polls are all showing the NDA getting more seats and getting a majority and winning the election, it's possible and probable that they will indeed get the win in the results. But you never know. Like, it's possible that something majorly wrong has happened in the polling companies and they've missed out that India Alliance is going to win. That's a possibility, but very remote. But I won't as yet. No, I can't tell. But I did a few months ago in a previous video did predict that Modi would win. Just a general thing. I didn't say how many seats he get, but I was expecting him to win, and most people in the country are expecting him to win. So I think that's what will happen, but we have to wait and see on the 4th of June to see what happens. What can we make of these polls? We can basically say that the Indian polling industry is good at predicting who wins elections, but not good at predicting how many seats each party gets. Some of them are accurate, but most are a bit conservative. They kind of underestimate how much the winning party is going to win by. And I'm not sure why that happens. I can't explain it. I'm not educated enough about polling and elections to say that. And so, can you trust the exit polls and opinion polls for this year's election? I think, as far as the honesty and integrity of the polling firms goes, I think we can trust them. And I don't think that they would be bought out by any party and deliberately lie to create a favorable opinion. I'm sure there is some influence peddling by political parties, but I think that they've resisted it. And I think that these results that have been so far shown in the polls will likely hold. I don't think that there's going to be a massive difference either uh, on how much the NDA is going to win or how much the India alliance is going to lose by. I definitely don't think that there's going to be a reversal. But you never know. Politics is a weird field and a weird thing, hard to predict. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Please share your thoughts about this video in the comment section. If you want to see other videos about Indian nationalism with respect to current events, click here. If you want to see my previous video, click here. If you want to see the sources I used for this video, click the links in the description below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.